What is a little bombshell your therapist dropped in one of your sessions that completely changed your outlook? Stop trying to get everyone to agree. When you need everyone to agree, the least agreeable person has all the power. Really changed my outlook on planning family events. User replies. I've always said that in the absence of real leadership, the biggest winner usually gets what they want. Same idea. Especially in social situations, real leadership is exceedingly rare. User replies. Reminds me of the time a psychic told my mom that my late grandma was upset about something. My mom laughed and said, "My mom was the most stubborn woman on the planet. If she was here, she'd be upset about something." User replies. I didn't really find out why my dad hated planning family events until after he died. Without him taking care of all the planning, it devolved into total chaos, where no one could agree on anything. Bickering about where to go, what to do, when to go, how much it would cost, who would pay and how much. I watched my dad stress about this stuff for most of my life, until he decided one year that he'd had enough. He was going to decide where to go, what to do, when to go, didn't give a shit how much it cost, he was going to pay for everything and for everyone. He then told everyone the plans and said, "You can come or not come, your choice." Oddly enough, when you took the financials out of the equation, suddenly everyone was able to agree on where to go and were able to adjust their schedules, so they could go. He died in 2013. We didn't go on another family trip with my siblings, their kids, our aunts, uncles, cousins until just last year. Because no one could agree on anything. It was mostly a money thing. How much they thought they should pay, compared to the other people going. Split evenly? Oh, no. So-and-so has 3 kids and it's just me and my husband, why should we pay the same as them? I knew my dad just said, "Fuck it," and paid the entire thing, but I really didn't have the means to do that, until recently. But I basically did what he did. I planned the whole trip, paid for it, and me and my family, plus my mom and her boyfriend, were going to go on vacation. I sent out invitations to everyone. Initially, I got some suggestions from a sibling and a cousin about where we should go and when. I cut that shit off immediately with, "This is all done and paid for you. You can come, or you cannot come. You are welcome, but if you can't make it, we understand and will miss you." Magically, everyone was able to adjust their schedules and come for the free vacation. Don't think of the relationship as over. Think of it as complete. Fundamentally changed how I was processing a tough breakup. So helpful. User replies. This is a big one. Just because a relationship ends, doesn't mean it was an entirely bad thing. It's okay to be with someone who's right for now, and then to break up when that changes. We are human, we are meant to grow, learn, and change. I've never really had friends. I've had colleagues and classmates and housemates and people who have hung out with me, but I never really felt close to any of them. And I did that thing you see on here sometimes, I stopped reaching out to see if I would be reached out to, and I wasn't, which I took as confirmation that they didn't really want me around, or at the very least, that they wouldn't mind my absence. I was talking to my therapist about people I'd been close to in college, and she told me to pick one and talk about him. So I did, and after I shared some basic stuff like his name and his major etc., and a couple anecdotes, she asked me what else I knew about him. And I couldn't answer. It wasn't really a broadly applicable bombshell, but she said, "What else?" and I started crying, because I realized that for as simple as the question was, my inability to answer spoke volumes. I've never had good friends, because I've never been a good friend. I'm withdrawn and reserved, and I always made others do the work to drag me out, without ever extending my own friendship in a meaningful way in return. If I wanted to have meaningful relationships with other people, would have to build them. I'm still working on this, but I'm trying to make more offers and extend more friendliness to others in my daily life. You are not responsible for your parents' emotional well-being. They are independent adults, who have been on this earth for many more years than you. Your mom is never going to be the parent you want or need, so stop expecting her to be and being mad that she isn't. Also, people who are addicts tend to get frozen at the time they started abusing drugs or alcohol, because their focus is their addiction and not developing as a person. So a person who started drinking heavily at 13 and quit at 30 would behave a lot like a 13-year-old. User replies. My wife phrased the first one as, adjust your expectations of others based on what they are able to give, instead of what you'd want them to give. It's fairer towards them. My counselor said to imagine myself as an orange. Then, consider that not all people like oranges. That doesn't mean that the orange is flawed in any way, not rotten, just that everyone has preferences. That helped ease my insecurities and need for people-pleasing dramatically. User replies. If you literally laid down and let people walk all over you, someone would complain that you're not flat enough. User replies. I've started implementing this narrative into my life and it has been so helpful. There are plenty of lovely people that I just don't like. That is not a testament of their value, only one of my preference. Similarly, I, a lovely person if I do say so myself, won't be liked by all. That is not indicative of my worth. As long as I am acting according to my values, they may dislike me for things I quite like about myself. I'm not going to become someone I don't like, to be liked by others. You already made it halfway through the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Let's continue. For context, I had a major TBI, seizures, strokes, and all around not a fun brain time when I was 28. You have to grieve the loss of yourself. Most people wanted me to go back to how I was. The fucked up truth is, that part of my brain is dead. The person everyone, including myself, knew died. I needed to grieve the loss of myself. Why do you make people more comfortable when you are uncomfortable? When talking about people pleasing and fawning. I don't want to take meds, because I don't want to rely on drugs to feel okay. Don't you already do that? My therapist in the session, before I finally saw a psychiatrist and got officially diagnosed with bipolar 2. I was heavily self-medicating at the time, but of course didn't see it that way, because it wasn't a prescription. User replies. That one hit deep. I've said the first line multiple times. No one has ever said the second. Will worrying about it change the outcome? If the answer is yes, go ahead and worry about it. I suddenly realized that I couldn't think of a situation where the answer to that question was ever yes. Really short-circuited the worry cycle for me. At the time, I was into getting tarot card readings and seeing psychics. My therapist told me he has psychic clients who come to him ashamed about the excessive amount of lying they do every day. Haven't been to a psychic or tarot card reader since. User replies. I have this idea for a movie where a therapist realizes that her clients listen to their psychics more than her, so she pretends to be a psychic and gives her clients sound advice, but claims it comes from the stars or the cards or whatever. Accepting something doesn't mean you have to like it. That took away a lot of my inner conflicts about situations, because I could accept a situation without expending energy internally fighting against the injustice of it. You always talk about not wanting to do to your daughters what your mom did to you. You worry about it so much in every interaction you have ever had with them. But your children are 19 and 21 now. They are happy and healthy and they trust you, because you've never abused them in any way. So I just want to validate for you that you really have broken that cycle of violence. You did that. And you should be proud of it. I'm proud of you for it. User replies. Validation is so powerful. My sister and I have spent hours validating each other, once we realized that we rarely got it from our parents. We were both late 50s, when we figured it out. Now I spread validation like fairy dust. That stuff is free, comes in all shapes and sizes and allows people to grow, like Miracle Grow does for flowers. Emotions are not bad, even the unpleasant ones. They all have an appropriate place. User replies. Yes. Mine said, negative emotions are the brain's canary in a coal mine, a way to tip you off when something isn't right. Don't shoot the messenger, just ask yourself what is causing them. I was at a high-stress time and I asked her how people live like this. She replied, oftentimes they have cardiac events. She said it as an urging to care for myself as much as possible. You are not special. I was having some very strong anxiety at the time, especially in regards to other people. I felt like I was judged everywhere, like I couldn't go to the store, take the bus, or even go for a walk, because I felt people were judging my every move, how I dressed, how my hair looks, how I talked, even how I walked. Every stranger was thinking bad of me. It was scary as hell. I was telling her about this, and how I started avoiding going out, which was a problem, because I had to go to college soon, and she looked me straight in the eyes and told me, I'm telling you this with all the care of the world, but you are not special, there is nothing that would make me think twice, if we crossed in the street. It's harsh, and is exactly what I needed. All the anxiety didn't let me see that until she said it. Of course she helped me some other ways, but this really changed my life. When she said it, I could go to college and be out because of it. Is it your anxiety, or hers? Background: I have an overbearing mother who needs to know as much as she can about what I'm doing on my own time, to sleep well at night, according to her. She basically treats me like a rebellious kid in a teen movie from the 90s, when I'm an independent, grown-ass woman, approaching my mid-30s. At the time my therapist said this, I was 28-ish and panicking about an upcoming business trip. Not the trip itself, but her reaction to me leaving the state for a few days. As I was going down the list of texts, I knew she'd bombard me with, my therapist dropped this gem. She gave me permission to opt out of managing her fears, like I had been doing for years. End result, I went on the trip without telling her a thing and have established a few more sanity-preserving boundaries since. Big thanks to everyone who watched the entire video. We're aiming for 250 subscribers by the end of the year. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. Drop a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I'll catch you in the next one.